Welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim. Join hosts Dan Melnick and Qasim Masood as they explore big ideas, limitless possibilities, and engage with visionaries, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders who dare to dream big, get inspired, motivated, and find practical tips for personal growth. Think big, dream bigger, and ignite your potential.
Welcome to the Think Big with Dan and Qasim. Today, our guest is Jaime. Jaime, how are you today?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. I hope you're doing well as well.
I'm doing well, thank you. All right, so let us know where you live and what you do.
Okay, so I've been a technologist for a long time. I graduated from physics in the University of Arizona back in the 90s, and then I did a master's in electrical engineering in Stanford. And since then, I've been working on different types of emerging technologies like holography, 3D projection, things like that. And currently, I hold a position at Midaverse as the co-founder and the CTO of the company. And also, I have started a new company that solely dedicates into spatial computing using Apple Vision Pro and Vision OS as well.
Awesome. So, Jim, let us know a little bit about your audience, like who are interacting with you, who are the customers who are interacting with you on daily basis or whatever is the model.
Yeah, so most of our customers are enterprise level customers. It's not a B2C model, but it's a B2B model. So it's a business to business. Mostly are companies that either are starting to get their feet wet on emerging technologies such as spatial computing, and they want to find alternatives to reach out their internal employees and stakeholders in a way that they can have a in-person replacement, like for instance, remote work and things like that, using spatial computing where they can meet in a virtual space or they can be trained on a virtual space and that type of scenarios. And that's basically what we're focusing on right now, is mostly training, onboarding of personnel in spatial computing.
All right. So, by the way, it looks like training is one of the hardest things you can do. So, have you ever faced any challenge while you are training them and guiding them? Because I believe there must be a lot of challenges, but if you can
Yes.
share one with us.
So the main challenge that I think right now we are facing, and it's how you adapt the technology into a mainstream. Most of these technologies are quite new. Some of them are under development, so they are not like fully fleshed, finished into the development phase. So there is still things that need to be worked out. To give you an example, for instance, in terms of doing training for aviation, which is one of the main areas that we are developing on for aviation, you need to create these complex scenes where you have parts of an airplane or even areas of the interior of the airplane that requires a lot of processing power in terms of graphics processing. And that requires a specific type of machines that are not accessible to everybody. So then we had to resource machines virtually on cloud computing and then use cloud computing streaming to browsers for users, which also brings other set of problems like latency and areas of the world where these clouds are not available and things like that. So we had to create an entire content delivery network for being able to reach all these different places in the world. So that's been one of the biggest challenges, I probably would say. Then that comes also with an economics that are very complex, because then you need to calculate cloud computing costs and all the associated services around that are also part of that cloud computing offering. So that's probably the biggest challenging that we are facing at the moment. And that also interpolates in virtual reality headsets, right? Like we see the case of Oculus, or what now is called Meta Quest 3, compared to the Apple Vision Pro, which is the price tag is significantly different. And then how you compete one against the other, knowing that definitely the Apple Vision Pro is a much better product, but then the friction that we found with our customers is like, okay, but the price tag is so high, how you can distribute this to all our employees. And it's a balancing act between how to bring this technology to the customer, but also how to make it accessible to the customer in terms of usability, economics, and all that.
All right. So in this whole process, I think there is some awareness process also involved? Because looks like in this case you have to educate as well, because
Yes.
there will be a lot of people who are not aware of all these things. So how do you do
Absolutely.
this?
It's a lot of education. We have customers that they come to us, they want to get the product, and the first year is just educating them what you can really do with the product, because most of the time they have an idea in their heads that how they can use this, and that idea is completely different of what reality can bring. Most of the time, like, people think that things work like in the movies, right? Like, and everything in the movies looks amazing, and in the metaverse, and I put my headset and I'm in the 3D world, and it's Ready Player Me, and or Ready Player One, sorry. But it's not like that. It's way more complex than that, and it takes, the technology stack is significant in terms of, I always make the analogy of a hamburger with so many layers, right? Like, you have the lettuce and the patty and the cheese and the bread and all that together, and everything needs to work at the same time. You have WebSocket servers, and you have Lambda functions and databases and validation through WebRTC, and then the WebRTC protocol running, and the communication between all these. It's just, sometimes it really takes you to a position that you say, okay, I can make this work. Almost like, if it's a prototype, it works and looks great on paper, but then when you take it to reality and you need to scale it to thousands of users running this simultaneously from different parts of the world, different types of internet streams, different types of connections and firewalls and ports blocked and all that, then it becomes a big, big challenge, which we are overcoming with time, but it's been a journey. We've been doing this type of technology. We've been deploying it for 5 years now. The company has grown so much since that we started it as a POC long time ago. Well, not long time ago, 5 years, but it just seems like an eternity now. And today we see better acceptance and better usage of the technology, but it's still a challenge.
Yeah, I think in terms of technologies, basically there's always room of awareness, because technology is evolving day by day. Every day technology is evolving. So probably this gap will stay maybe for a long time. Even right now, like, we are working on software development, mobile applications, websites, sort of these things. And even we have to educate both sides. We have, like, again, two sides. One, the development team, and the other one is the client side. We have to educate them. We have to educate both of the sides, because there are a lot of elements that we cannot neglect at all. So, well, yeah, this makes completely makes sense. And I think this thing applies on other sides as well, because our podcast is more like business oriented. So even in business, there are a lot of things that are, like, we cannot say everything is impossible, but there are a lot of things that are near to impossible, and sometimes things are possible but we do not understand, just because of the lack of awareness. And many businesses just shut down because of this thing, because challenges are meant to be for the entrepreneurs, and some of them face it and they become like Apple, and some of them just burn out and they just leave the game. All right. So let's say, even in this case, if we talk about the business, what do you think? What can be the burning point for an entrepreneur, and where they have to be patient?
So when you start a company, you have basically two paths, how I see it. The one path is you say, okay, I'm going to be as self-sustained as I can, and then you can let bootstrap that growth of your company organically, and you probably will use some of your own funds, or you will lend some money from someone, but basically you keep control of your company. You may partner up with someone, and then both partners will do, which I always say that having a partner is very important, it's very healthy. Doing a company on your own, your chances of succeed are going to diminish, because you don't have anyone that balance you out in terms of creating that company. Like, creating a company on your own without a partner is almost like having a marriage without a partner. You need to have that partner to balance you out, to see things from another perspective. But that's one path. Then the other path is, like, from the get-go, you say, I'm going to get funding, and I'm going to get a VC or an investment team, and you can go and find friends and family, or you can do an angel investor or something like that. That's a completely different path. And the reason why it's a different path is because the moment that you engage in the situation where you're going to say, okay, I'm going to use somebody else's money to fund this endeavor, that moment it basically create a tacit commitment that this needs to not only serve your vision, but it also needs to serve a return on that investment. And sometimes your vision and the return on the investment, they don't go hand by hand. It's very tricky. Sometimes you can make it work, but there is always going to be that side of the coin where you say, these guys are expecting to see their money back. And most of the guys say, oh, it's great. I got a VC. It's fantastic. It's the dream come true. They put millions of dollars on this, right? And then you realize that all that money comes with a very firm commitment of, we need to get that money back. And having too much money at the beginning on a company, it's also dangerous because, there people say, oh no, but we got $10 million. Well, do you really need $10 million right now? Do you really need $100 million right now? Do you need $1 billion right now? Maybe you don't. Maybe if you only had one or 500,000, you would be more creative, more resourceful, more lean, and more effective in your vision. But some people get lost with that. And then the first thing they do is start hiring people like crazy. And then you have these startups that has burns of $400,000, $500,000 a month and no revenue whatsoever, and not a plan to have revenue either. So that for me, it's a very dangerous path. If you don't know that path very well and you don't know really where you want to go, it could be intoxicating. It could be almost like you get drunk with the money and you don't really bring it to reality.
Yeah.
So I have seen the two ends of the rope. I have seen people that have so much money and they run through that money like water in months and don't do anything really. Like at the end, you say, so what do we have? Do you have IP? Do you have anything to show for? With all that money that you receive? No, they don't, because they spend it on, frivolous things like, we're going to do a marketing campaign and we're going to spend $100,000 a month in this marketing campaign. Also, the CEO is known everywhere. Like, who cares, right? Are you trying to be a rock star or are you trying to build a company? That's two different things. And then you also have the other end of the rope, that you have this beautiful idea and great concept, but they are too cautious and they don't want to risk anything and they keep it too small. And then they don't have a way to get their product to market because the company is really crippled because they went too small. So there is a balance in between. You cannot do this side, which is no one is going to pay attention to you, because then no company is going to take you serious, and you cannot go to the other side that you have a lot of money to waste. So how you can balance that out? And I think that's something that not everybody gets at the first glance. Sometimes it takes several iterations on the entrepreneurial journey to learn that.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, I also have seen many companies who burned a lot of money. They just came in and went out. Like, these companies do not do any considerable thing other than disrupting the market in a wrong way, where they give very high salaries to the individuals and they are not working any on anything. Now market saturation is there. Now everybody is asking for more and nobody have good expertise. They are exploit. All right. So can you guide us a little bit about from your side? Like, is there any strategy that you are, I can say, like, your team devised and it worked well, like a strategy that worked well? Because I know many strategies just fail, but this is not end of the world, obviously. But few work. The strategies that work, those are the gem strategies sometimes. So can you share one with us?
Sure. And this is learned from experience and trial and error, because we did fail a lot of times. I mean, the journey hasn't been perfect. We have failed and then we look into retrospect and we correct. The first thing, if I could go back in time right now, 5 years back, and start all over, the first thing I will do is to make a plan, a real plan, like not a plan to sell and to sell the idea to others, but a plan to really make this work. Like almost like, if I don't depend of anyone, if this is going to be my money, the money that I have in my bank right now, the money that I'm saving for my holidays with my kids, or the money that I'm saving to change my car, if I need to take that money right now and invest it, how I'm going to use that money cautiously, and how I can take that idea that I have into reality and make a plan based on that. And the product needs to definitely, mostly, and unequivocally, the product needs to solve a real problem. If the product is not solving a problem, the product is not needed. And if the product is not needed, your chances of succeed are close to zero. So you need to find that. One of the problems that we encountered early on was that we tried to make a product for everybody. That doesn't work either. You need to focalize. And we heard this from so many people when we were doing the pitches, when we were finding VCs. Oh, but you guys are looking to create something too broad. And we were like, no, it's not broad. It's this technology. One thing is the technology. And the other thing is, what are you going to do with the technology? Let me put you an example. Let's say that you are developing a spoon. Very simple, a spoon. And you are designing this beautiful spoon, which is done in carbon fiber. It's a super resistant, great spoon. You can eat anything with that spoon. That doesn't mean that your product is a spoon for anything. You need to pick a market. Which is the market that you're going to put that spoon in? Is it going to be for toddlers? Or is it going to be for restaurants? What is your ideal customer for that spoon? And when you have that customer, then you develop an entire product offering for that customer. And that's where you need to get in. First, you land there, then you expand. But you need to focalize in one single customer, because you won't be able to serve multiple customers, multiple verticals at the same time. You find a spoon, okay, I did this technology is amazing, it's great. Now let's sell it to a restaurant business. And that's going to be my customer. My ideal customer is restaurant owners. They own, it's a franchise, or is it a single restaurant? No, it's a franchise, because I want to get to all the franchises. And then I start from there and I start building on top of that my entire product offering based on that. And then that's the only thing I would like to talk, breathe, sleep, eat for the next year. That's my customer right now, nothing else. If someone else, and you will get distracted because you're going to get other people coming to you, friends, the same investors. Oh, this is great. What if we're not offering for the Hyatt Hotel in Singapore? No, that's not my customer. Sorry. Oh, but they can buy 10,000 of these ones. No, I don't want to talk about it. Bring me a restaurant and I will talk to them. That's the type of, and you will get distracted a lot, because the customer, the same people that is offering you the money, the same people that will try to steer you away from the vision most of the time. And you have to be strong on that, and they will appreciate it later. They probably won't appreciate it at the moment, but they will appreciate it later, because they will say, okay, this guy was actually saving our money. He was trying to protect our investment, not to risk it. But that's the tricky part, because you want to make them happy, because they just put $1 million in your company. We had a lot of those. People come to us, oh, but this is great to do digital twins, but we don't do digital twins. That's not our business. Oh, but I can get you right now with this company that needs digital twins, and this is perfect for digital twins. Yeah, it might be perfect for digital twins, but not for right now. Maybe in 5 years, when we have the technology stack more stable and we have other type of developers in our company, we can focalize on digital twins, but we don't have any experts on digital twins in there. How we can just pivot into that. So that type of situation we see a lot.
Completely makes sense. All right. So at the end, I mean, it was really nice talking to you. In fact, I really enjoyed the conversation, but obviously we have to. Can you please let us know let our viewers know where they can reach you, and you can share your website, the social media handle, whatever you want to share.
Yeah, my social media in all platforms it's Jaime Lopez Digital. So it's all together, Jaime Lopez Digital, and Jaime is Jaime, not Jamie. And I am also on LinkedIn and Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all of them are the same. So I am reachable through those. Discord as well, which is one that I use a lot with the developers and people that follows me for technology advice and stuff like that. And yeah, I mean, I'm happy to talk, to help any way I can, to advise anyone that requires some support in this journey, because I know it's a very tough journey for entrepreneurs, and I'm happy to assist anyone.
Awesome. Well, Jamie, it was really nice talking to you. Thanks for joining us today. I really enjoyed a lot of things. In fact, this was full of value additions, full of advices, and I learned from those advices also. And thank you. Thanks from our side and from our audience.
Thank you so much, Qasim. Very nice to meet you, and look forward to hear you in the future as well.
Sure. Stay connected. Have a good day. Bye-bye.